excited to be with you all for Easter Sunday, and we have some great stuff planned, so let's get into it. The first thing we have for you is some awesome worship music that you can dance along to. Then we're going to be reading a story about the resurrection of Jesus, and then we're going to get into a great craft. So let's do it.
I waited patiently for the Lord. He turned to me and heard my cry. He lifted me out of the slimy pit, out of the mud and mire. He set my feet on a rock, gave me a firm place to stand. He set my feet on a rock, gave me a firm place to stand. Set my feet on a rock, yeah, and here I am. I waited patiently for the Lord. He turned to me and heard my cry. He lifted me out of the slimy pit, out of the mud and mire. He set my feet on a rock and gave me a firm place to stand. He set my feet on a rock, gave me a firm place to stand. Set my feet on a rock, yeah, and here I am. out of the slimy pit, out of the mud and mire. He set my feet on the rock, gave me a firm place to stand. He set my feet on the rock, gave me a firm place to stand. Set my feet on the rock, yeah, and here I am, hey, hey. Here I am, here I am, here I am.
Now it's time to get into the story. We are going to be reading from the Jesus Storybook Bible, and we are going to be reading the story called God's Wonderful Surprise, which is about the resurrection, and it's written about in Matthew 28, Mark 16, Luke 24, and John 20. Jesus' friends were sad. They would never see their best friend again. How could this happen? Wasn't Jesus the rescuer, the king that God had promised? It wasn't supposed to end like this. Yes, but whoever said anything about end? Just before sunrise, on the third day, God sent an earthquake and an angel from heaven. When the guards saw the angel, they fell down with fright. The angel rolled the huge stone away, sat on top of it, and waited. At the first glimmer of dawn, Mary Magdalene and other women headed to the tomb to wash Jesus' body. The early morning sun slanted through the ancient olive trees. Drops of dew glittering on leaves and grasses, little tears were everywhere. The friends walked quietly along the hilly path through the olive groves until they reached the tomb, and immediately noticed something odd. It was wide open. They peered through the opening into the dark tomb. But wait, Jesus' body was gone. And something else. A shining man was there, with clothes made from lightning.
Do not be scared,
the angel said. They couldn't help it. They screamed anyway. The angel asked them, "What are you doing here? This is a tomb, and tombs are for dead people." The woman couldn't speak. "Jesus isn't dead anymore," he said. "He's alive again." And their hearts leapt. And then the angel laughed with such gladness that they felt, for a moment, as if they had woken from a big nightmare. The other women rushed home, but Mary stayed behind. How could it be true? Jesus was definitely dead. How could he be alive? Just then, Mary heard someone else in the garden. Perhaps it's the gardener, she thought. He'll know where Jesus' body is. "I don't know where Jesus is," Mary said urgently. "I can't find him." But it was all right. Jesus knew where she was, and he had found her. "Mary!" Only one person said her name like that. She could hear her heart thumping. She turned around. She could just make out a figure. She shaded her eyes to see and thought she was dreaming. But she wasn't dreaming. She was seeing. "Jesus!" Mary fell to the ground. Sudden tears filled her eyes and great sobs shook her whole body, and all she wanted in that moment was to cling to Jesus and never let him go. "You'll be able to hold on to me later, Mary," Jesus said gently, "and always be close to me. But now..."
Go and tell the others that I am alive.
Mary ran and ran all the way to the city. She had never run so fast or so far in all her life. She felt she could have run forever. She didn't even feel like her feet touched the ground. The sun seemed to be dancing and gleaming and bounding across the sky, racing with her and shining brighter than she could ever remember in the clear, fresh air. And it seemed to her that morning, as she ran, almost as if the whole world had been made anew. Almost as if the whole world was singing for joy. The trees, tiny sounds in the grass, the birds, her heart. Was God really making everything sad come untrue? Was he making even death come untrue? She couldn't wait to tell Jesus' friends.
They won't believe it.
She was right, of course. Well, that is the story about the resurrection of Jesus. Thanks for joining me, kids. Hey kids, now we are going to begin our craft. Our craft today is going to be making the tomb that Jesus was put in and the stone that rolled away. And you guys are gonna get to see a really cool thing that we're gonna do with that. So to start out with, we'll get to our supplies. So you're going to need a piece of paper. It can be any color. I would probably just choose a white one, that way you can draw on it. Then you're gonna need a hole puncher, a pair of scissors, a cup. It doesn't have to be a plastic or a paper cup. It can be a regular cup like you would use to drink juice out of. A paper clip. I do have a couple of them just in case mine breaks, so it might be a good idea to get a couple. And then your coloring utensils. So I am using markers and crayons today. You can use markers, crayons, and paint, or just one or the other, however you'd like. So I'll give you guys some time to get your supplies. All right, now that you have your supplies, let's get started. So the first thing that we are going to do is take our piece of paper and we're gonna fold it in half, hamburger style. After you've folded it, you can fold it back out, and this is just gonna help us for the sizing for our craft. So on one half of it, we are going to do the tomb part of it. So you can choose any color or crayon that you want. I'm gonna use a brown crayon to outline it. And I'm just gonna make the tomb and then color in some stones and the entrance to the tomb. And then we'll get into the rock and drawing Jesus. Perfect. Now to do the other side. We'll flip it around and then we're gonna take our cup and we're gonna put it face down with the circle on the bottom. And what we're gonna do here is we're gonna trace the circle. So you'll hold it one place and then we'll just draw a nice circle around it. After that, right next to it, we are going to draw the body of Jesus. And we want it to be about as long as this circle. So we'll draw it just right next to it to make sure that it's just that size. All right, and after you have finished that, this is where the cutting begins. So if you guys need help with cutting, you can ask your parents and they will gladly help you. First, we're going to cut out the tomb part of it. And you can just cut right around the line that you've drawn. And then we'll do the same thing with our circle and Jesus. We'll just cut around their figures. All right, once you've finished, you can set your scissors to the side and just the scraps as well. And now what we're gonna do is use the hole puncher. So you'll just take the hole puncher and on one side of it, so just pop a hole right in there. Try and make it as close to the side, about a finger width from it. And then from the tomb, you're gonna go from the left side of the door, and then you'll go all the way up as far as you can, right next to the door, and you'll pop another hole in there. All right, once you have your holes made, you're going to take your paper clip, take this one, you're going to put it through the hole of the rock, and then you'll put it through the hole of your tomb. And now you can see that it covers up the whole side of it, but when you move your paper clip, you can move the rock to the side. So you'll put Jesus in there, you'll put the rock on it, and then you'll move it to the side, and Jesus is gone from the tomb. And then right on top, we're going to take our crayon or marker, and then we'll write, Jesus is risen. And then you can move him back and forth. And that is our craft today, a tomb with Jesus coming out of it. Thanks for joining me, guys. Thanks for joining us for Children's Ministry Online. It was great to get to worship, read a story, and do a craft with you kids. If you want, you can take a picture of the craft that you did and have your parents help with uploading it onto our Facebook page at Calvary Chapel Community Church. It was really great to get to see you kids this week, so we hope to see you next time. Thanks.